Hi everyone, this is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching with today's video, which is 243, and it is a fun project. It's a quilt, and it's from McCall's Quarterly, the winner for 2024, page 80, so some of those might still be out there. And this quilt is so neat because it was a takeoff from working on my 16-inch log cabin blocks. I just had so much fun digging into my material and going through it. And then all of a sudden I saw this project, and I like looking at the chevron and then that kind of a pattern, but I just never really got into doing it, much of it. Well, I have gone into it full-fledged now, and I want to share that with you today. And this is the quilt. The quilt's going to have 5 strips that run from top to bottom. They are going to be, well, I'll show you that as we go, okay? Because this is, it's not hard and it's fun, but there's a couple of things that I can help you get through, I think, as we go. That said, we're ready to start. This is going to look like a world of hurt in here right now because I have been pulling things from all different places and colors. And I came up with a couple of ways after I got started when I was picking out my colors. And I'd have an extra piece left over, and I would put it on the board that I have that the pins stick into. It's got the batting attached to it, and I could go back to those. And then I got that I had filled up that board, and I said, oh, where can I put a few so I can see them now? And so I came to the edge of my ironing board because I kept going back there. It's on top of a table, and you can see here on the edge I have the strips put in there. And one of the reasons I like to keep up with the strips too is I went in and I pulled some fun strips. I didn't want it to be anything really dramatic. I just wanted it to be a fun quilt. So I put those on there so that I could see them. All right. And here are 4 of the 5 strips that I needed to make. And I put them up so that I could see the way my colors were going once I got some done. But this was just going to be a fun quilt, so I didn't go overboard about that. But the strips that you add, if you look at them, they're different sizes. And you can make those, you cut them from 1 to 2.5 inches wide. And that gives you such a nice variety for the look that it's not all of the same. Now you'll notice that the 2 strips on the left have been cut down, and the 2 on the right have not. And I'm going to show you what I did with my ruler that made it pretty easy. One side you have to be very careful when you cut, then the other side goes really quickly. This is strip number 5. Now, I call it number 5 because that makes me feel good, I've come that far. Because of the way you saw them hanging, that's not necessarily the way that I'm going to have them when I get finished, because I can move them around. But you're going to have 3 where they point north, and you're going to have 2 that point south. And so that varies the way they'll look, and that's going to be another nice touch. But you can change that. I mean, if you wanted it to be the opposite with 3 down and 2 up, you can do that. But what I wanted to show you about this is, and I do have it by my ironing board, by my iron, because the first side, it is not, you don't need it as much, you don't need it so much. But once you get the second side on there, we're going to do one side, then we're going to do the other side. It really helps to take and get up and not sit too long, but get up and take and iron that down. But what I found out was that this is going to grow. Hers, she made the first one 86 inches long, and then was going to cut it to size, and that'll be in the plans if I don't get to it. but it got so cumbersome. This is one thing that I did, that I started rolling it up and then pinning it so that it'd be easier to manage around my sewing machine. So that's another little clue. And there are things that I don't want to forget to tell you, so I want to go right now back to the book and let you know that the maroon strips are 5 inches wide. But the neat thing was, she added a strip that's 1.5 inches wide down the side of each one of the strips. And it sort of acts like a little barrier before you put the 5 inches on. And I'm going to look at that. And I'm like the way black is looking. And so I'm thinking that maybe my strips that are going to go down through there will be black. And then I'll pick the color that I want to do for the strips. And I'm not making my quilt that long as hers. It's pretty long, but I didn't do it as long as hers. And if I turn back here, you'll see she used a stripe material between the band and the chevron strip and her 5-inch piece. And then the top's got 5-inch piece, the bottom's got a 5-inch piece. The quilt that she made that's long, the backing is 5 3/4 yards. And that's so you can tell that's gonna be a good size. All right, now we're gonna get down to the 2 nitty-gritties. And one of them is getting started and sewing your pieces on. And then the second part is gonna be cutting. I'm gonna pull one of those long bands off the sheet and bring it over here and show you a good way to cut. All right. The very beginning is a triangle on the row. And I took a piece of cardboard that was 7.5 inches long and 3 3/4 inches tall. And then for the center part, if you've got it exactly like that, you could try folding it. But the point was that you needed to be 3 3/4 from this side and 3 3/4 from that side. And I made a cardboard just because I thought, well, I intend to do things more than once. And so I got my cardboard, and then I took and I cut off that extra piece that was on there. And from this, all you need is 5 different triangles that you're going to start with. Okay, so my first triangle for now is this nice brown. And so I was looking at what I've already got cut, and I have that I can go and I can do it with this. Now, if you're doing this, you probably got your sewing machine, so I'm not going to show you something related to the sewing. The first strip, but these strips, now see, look at this one though. You say, that's not 8 inches long. No, it's longer. And what I did is when I started getting colors that I really liked and I made a strip, I knew that I had 5 of these panels to make. So I would probably use it. And then whatever I have left is going to go into another bin. So this would get it. All right, but I'm going to need the 2 pieces. So the first thing you do is just line this one up. And you're going to sew it all the way down. And probably being the first one, you'd want to press it. But make sure it's 8 inches long. That is smart. I actually had so many going that I came down here on my mat. If you can see it, I don't know if you can see it. On the mat, and I marked 0 to 8. And then I'd cut it a little bit beyond 8. And it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'll do that now so it looks like yours will look. Okay, come back here. Put him down. Take this one and lay it on there. And sew it. And don't worry about all of that. Just sew that down to the edge. Then fold it over All right, and when you get it folded over, excuse me, it's going to be sticking up like about that much. You'll have it, because this is going to be one of the narrow ones, and it'll look like that. So then you take the same fabric that you're working with, and you bring it over, and you lay it, and you start it at the top of your pyramid triangle, and you lay it down, and this was supposed to be an 8-inch, which would be about there. Once you get it sewed on, then you turn it back, and it would be laying right there. And then you do the next one, all right? So you just decide what you want what size you want them to be. So I decided, well, I'd make the next one a wide one, that color. So I'm going to come and I'm going to lay it down from the top of the triangle down. And I would cut this off. Well, I had it already cut off. All right, so that's 8 inches. And once you get it done, you fold it back. And this is a pretty wide one, so you might want to go and gently press it. And I pressed them all the same way. That made it really easy. And then you're ready for the next one. And it starts at the very top. And I already knew that first one was 8 inches, so I'm just going to cut that off. And I have a little piece left over. And you're going to sew it on, and then when you fold it back and press it, you'll have 2 strips put on there. And that's the way it keeps going all the way through it. Okay, now what I want to show you is the way that I trimmed it off to get it down to size. And the first thing I did was I took a piece of the painter's tape, and I put it at, from 1 going down, I would put it at 3 1/4 inch. And I turn it over, and you can see that when you go over this way, it travels, and it stops at 3 1/4. All right. And at first I thought, okay, this is neat. I'm just going to take and put this whole thing out and just run my thing down through it. Well, there's this funny thing with these points right here, because as you're going, you're going to see that you're going to have to adjust your ruler a little bit. So I'm going to start right here, and everything's going to be set. Let me see. Let me get myself turned around here now. There it is. I actually have it on the other side, but it's 1 3 1/4, 1/4, and that's going to be to your right. Now, the trick is, don't look at the 3. Look at the edge of your blue tape. You may, because that's going to be important, and you may want to tape it the other way as long as you remember which way you've got your tape. And we're going to be looking at the points going up, and that's going to help you to line it up. So I'm going to slide my blue tape over so that my point of my triangle and those 2 places where it's a great start, I know that's going to be right. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to run from there. And you can see that's at the very, if you can see, that's at the very corner of my triangle too, for that first one. But then you're ready to go, all right? This is the time, all right? And you are going to have a piece come off. I have 4 really, well, several nice long ones. And then I'm going to pull it down again. And I'm going to line it up from where about where I stopped. And I'm going to put it, and you can do it as far as you want to, as long as you line up your tape line with the point. And there's the point. And I probably could have gone even a little higher on that one. Then I'm ready to, and it slipped. So I've got to get it back, okay? And the bottom slipped. And pull it up. And as we go, you can see some of my choices of material were quite entertaining. I love the black and the white, and there I have the paws. I pulled out some butterfly fabric that I really like, and I didn't overdo the silliness on any one of them, but I had a couple of spots of fun in each one. So let's see how far I can do this. Okay, I've got this one lined up at the point towards me, and you can see where my cut is. That's pretty good. Now, the trick is to hold it good, and then go up here. I'm off, so I'm off 1/4 of an inch. I got to slide it till my blue is right on there. Now, if you look in the middle and it's not quite on a point, then you just gently do that little tug till you get it. I think that looks pretty good because this bottom one is even right on it. And I'm going to go ahead and do another cut. Let's see what else. Oh, I do have another cute piece. I found this one that says, "Keep shining bright. Happiness blooms from within." Now, this piece is going to get cut off, but that's all right. All right, do one more, and then I'm going to turn it to show you the other way. All right, I'm going to get it lined up with this last one I did. I'm going to line up as far as I would dare to go if I think I can hold it steady. And I'm looking to see where my points are. Let's see. Get him back on the blue. And him back on the blue. And I think the rest are in the right place now. And I'm going to go up. How far have I got to go? I've still got a good way to go. So we're going to pretend that I've got that side cut. Then to do the other side, all you do is turn it over. We're going to pretend like this was at the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to take it. And now what I want, this whole thing is, 6.5 inches. And what I want to do is just take it and set it on here. And I could do it so you'd see that that's where our center was. But the point is, remember I said one of them you're going to cut in parts at a time, and then the next time you can just go straight up. Well, once you've got your 6.5 inch ruler lined up, then all you have to do is come to this side and take it down, move it down, and it's ready to go again. And you got that same strip. Oh, I'm almost to the end of this one. Now, this strip is not finished. Well, this one's finished. Sewing pieces on. I've got that other one that I've got to do, so that's what I'm going to do next. All right, so that part is finished on there, and there's my next strip to add. And then when I get ready, I'm going to go find a color, which either is going to be a dark color for me, I think, and then which is going to be the 1.5 inch strip. And then there's going to be a color. And it can be even a pattern. Hers is actually, it looks very maroon, but it's actually got a little pattern in it. And then do your next one and your next one. And I'm excited about this. I was glad I got to a place where I could go ahead and do the video so that I could get on with that last strip that I have to do. And the other thing that she did that made this one really nice was she appliqued some vines through in there and then added some two-tone leaves that are on there. So if you have enough time that you can add to that, although you can do some great quilting on your machine to cover that through there. This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. I hope you enjoyed looking at this project. Sometimes, this is funny, when I was coming from another place yesterday, and I thought, I feel like when I walk in the room, some of that, this is really crazy, some of that material's going, pick me. It's like a little adoption thing. But I hope everybody enjoyed that. Thank you.